All right, we're live. You know how much I like a good election. So we're waiting for exit polls on Maharashtra and Jharkhand. It's really exciting. We've had, of course, some of the numbers updated on what we're looking at in terms of voter turnout. Specifically in urban Maharashtra, Mumbai, terrible voter turnout, very badly behaved. Only about 40% in places like Kolaba, which is the posh part of the city. Those of us who went out to were actually in and out in 5 minutes. It was really a huge change from what we experienced during the Lok Sabha polls. Interestingly, Gadchiroli, which is sort of used to be a Naxal affected part of Maharashtra, has shown the highest voter turnout at 70%. Right. Let's take a look at some of those other voter turnout numbers that are coming in. As per the latest numbers, of course, we're about 40-50% across Maharashtra. Joining me right now, Aditya Menon, political editor of the Quint. Aditya, thank you for joining me. Quint's been traveling across the length and breadth of Maharashtra, but have you found the energy is different and perhaps lower this time than the Lok Sabha?
Definitely, I think there's a lot of voter fatigue, more so in urban areas than in rural. And I think people are generally fed up of probably too much politics, and also this thing of constantly changing alliances and people shifting from one party to the other. So I think they don't find any differentiator between one side and the other. That's probably one of the reasons why the enthusiasm levels have been extremely low this time.
And there is still a fair amount of confusion. Of course, for those people who live outside of Maharashtra, what is MVA? What is Mahayuti? Who's standing with whom? And we've had candidates switch sides also. I think there's also a fair expectation that candidates are going to switch sides after the election results come out. So at least in Mumbai, people I spoke to said, what's the difference? It's all the same. There's very little to choose from. Is that what you've picked up outside of Mumbai also?
In many areas, yes. I think people generally feel that someone is joining another alliance and then overnight shifting. More recently, we have the candidate from one opposition party in Dahanu. Just before 1 day before polling, he has shifted sides to another alliance. So, I mean, I don't know what is the point of shifting 1 day before polling. I mean, but yeah, it's. I think voters also see through these. All these activities. You voted today. What was the situation like in the booth?
There was no situation in the booth. It was a situationship, as young people call it. There was no commitment from anybody in that booth. It was a trickle of people at about 9 o'clock in the morning. People are saying, is there a line? Is there not a line? Becoming voting, coming and leaving. I mean, I was heartbroken, honestly, because from my point of view, people in Mumbai are so quick to complain about everything. And I mean, we know this. As soon as the monsoon starts and the city starts holding water like a vessel, everybody says, "Oh, what is this government? What is this government?" But if you're not going to show any interest in the government and you're not going to participate, also, I want to remind people that we've not had a BMC election for 2 years. There's no elected representative in the BMC. It's being run from the chief minister's office. It's a chief minister that you are not willing to choose. So effectively, what you're doing is handing over the power for your city and your state without having any say in it. Yogesh Pawar joins us right now. Yogesh, did you vote this morning, and what did you find in the booth?
Well, I mean, I love the word that you use, situationship. Well, it it was, for the Lok Sabha elections, Faye, one had to wait a considerably long time to
Yes.
actually get into the polling booth and vote, because to cast one's vote, one had to wait about nearly about an hour and a half to get inside the election, the polling booth. But here, I mean, I noticed that one was in and out in about 15 minutes, though I'd gone super early, and I'd done that earlier also, in thinking that maybe I'll go earlier this time because it'll take a long time there. But no, that was not the case. So people had just sort of vanished. It was like, where are all the crowds that were there just a few months ago when the Lok
Yeah.
Sabha elections happened? So it was a bit strange. I mean, but yes, as one got a sense of start speaking to people and got a sense of what was happening, people felt it was. काय अर्थ hai? That was the main thing that everybody kept on saying. There's no meaning to this because today I will vote for somebody, then he will go and join hands with someone else. And sometimes we are voting for a candidate where the father, like in my area, you have the father Gajanan Kirtikar, who is with one end of the Shiv Sena, and the son who is on the other end of the Shiv Sena. So, which is why I mean, in many families also you find that this kind of a thing is happening. So I just feel that people are fed up, and if your earlier guest was right, that people also feel like if it is not going to make any difference, then a
Yeah.
sense of ennui sets in, and you feel that if it's not going to make any sense, and if it is not going to make a difference, and irrespective of what whoever wins the elections, if there is one party which has godfather corporate sitting on the on with they enjoy the corporate's blessings, then they have enough money to buy over enough people and pocket this election. But so that has
Right.
sort of affected people. And I one
So,
point I wanted to make,
no,
one
no,
quick
Yogesh,
point I
Yogesh.
wanted to,
I think you're
yeah.
referring. I think you're referring to the interview that Ajit Pawar gave Srinivasan Jain for News Laundry and News Minute, in which he said that while there was a meeting between the BJP and Sharad Pawar's erstwhile United NCP to sort of break the existing government, Mr. Gautam Adani was part of that meeting. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, absolutely. That is true. And also, if one is the some of the bureaucrats that one has been speaking to ever since the run up to this election, who have their ears to many of these, that they're privy to many of these internal conversations and know what is going on. From them, one gets the sense that there is so much riding, particularly for this one corporate Adani, but several others also, that they sort of would want the current regime to go on in one form or the other. They're not very clear on, like it's just like the stock market. They want stability. They don't want anything to affect their money. But they do, as long as it comes any which way. So they don't mind who will be the chief ministerial candidate, who will be the chief ministerial
Yeah.
face, whatever. But they just want their contracts, their this thing to projects which they have to continue. So that I feel is one of those things. The point I was trying to make is that
Yes.
today when this election ended in the evening, Faye, I think the fate of about 100 seats is far more or less been decided. It's like set. But I think those 50 seats where it's going to be a photo finish, the 50 seats where you have nearly about, sometimes it's going to be like, the winning candidate will really like face a setback because of these 2000 odd votes that an independent candidate makes off with. So then that is going to decide, and along with that, these other independent candidates, which way they will sway, and obviously the money game will begin. So now I'm already thinking there is someone, as we are having this conversation, is calling up some resort and making bookings for people to be taken there, flown there. Maybe it's Guwahati, maybe it's somewhere, we don't know. Already a resort is being booked, and people are asking, "Wahan Wi-Fi hai kya? Wahan ye hai kya? Wahan sauna hai kya?" Those kind of demands are already being made, even as we are talking. Faye?
That's fascinating. But I want to come back to what Yogesh Pawar said about certain corporates being, having very high stakes in this particular election. And the project that's of most interest right now, while we're waiting for these numbers to come in, is Dharavi. Aditya Menon, your team did a really interesting report on Dharavi. This is a project that has been gifted to Gautam Adani's Adani, group to redevelop. It's very high stakes, and it's not just Dharavi, but three other large tranches of land have also been handed over. What is at stake right now, and is there enough money there to influence an election?
I mean, it's a huge issue. People in Dharavi, of course, have been asking for redevelopment for a long time. Whether this is the kind of arrangement they want that has been proposed by the Adani Group is, of course, open to question. And there are a lot of issues. There are what will happen to the livelihood of people who are working in small factories and other economic enterprises in Dharavi. So those things are yet to be answered. There are other questions also. If Dharavi itself is of, I think, 600 square kilometer area, I think, and whereas the land allotted to Adani is over 2.5 times of what the total area of Dharavi is. So how is that justified? What is does this group even have a track record in redevelopment? I do not think, I mean, to
No.
my knowledge, I don't think Adani Group has ever done redevelopment anywhere in the country. So why have they
But
been?
that hasn't stopped them from getting the airports. They did not have any track record, but they got all the airports nevertheless. So yeah, sorry, I came in.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, this is in the heart of Mumbai. It is going to change the entire the nature of Mumbai, and so whether this group has any credibility to do that. So these are some of the questions I think that did come up from when our reporters went on the ground. And obviously, I think Uddhav Thackeray has made this an issue, and they said that nothing should happen in Dharavi without the consent of Dharavikars. On the other hand, Devendra Fadnavis has been saying that they're going to change the face of Dharavi, and this is going to be the biggest redevelopment anywhere in the world. So, I mean, this is a central issue, at least in Mumbai.
Well, we have the
It,
numbers now ready to show you in terms of some of those that have come in. This is Maharashtra's exit polls from Matriz. It's giving the election. We're calling it BJP plus. It's actually Mahayuti. But this is because we want people outside of Maharashtra and Mumbai to be able to understand it as well. So this is Ajit Pawar's NCP, Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena, and the BJP together. Matrice is giving them 150 to 170. Remember, the halfway point is 144. The Congress Plus or the MVA is 110 to 130, and the other is very interesting, 8 to 10 there. We also have one more set of numbers that we can share, which is the PMARG numbers. I'll ask my producer Ira to pop that up on the screen as well if she can. It's very similar. There it is to what we're looking at. Again, the Mahayuti, which is BJP plus, is 137 to 157. The Congress is 126 to 146, and this is Uddhav Thackeray, Sharad Pawar, and the Congress Party, and the others are 2 to 8. So, quick reactions here. Aditya Menon, is this also effectively what you were expecting? And does this mean that Marathwad, Vidarbh swinging the BJP's way?
It is broadly, I think, what we have been hearing also from the ground, which is a very close election with probably, because it has become seat by seat, the side with greater resources might have the slight advantage, which in this case is the BJP-led Mahayuti. So the predictions aren't surprising. However, the P mark number, I mean, the margin of error is such that it could end up being in favor of the other side as well, because 146 would place even the Congress alliance just 2 seats above the halfway mark. So, I mean, they are, I think, playing it safe, which probably is expected in such a close election.
um,
Does this mean
Faye,
resort politics will now become interesting, Yogesh, like you said? Because those others
well,
sitting at 2 to 8.
I like how our other guest said that there is
Aditya, yeah.
Aditya said that basically he said that the side which has more resources will have the upper hand. They will have a slight edge, he said. But I'm saying already we saw yesterday who was throwing resources and who then sat in a car with Yatindra Thakur and went off. Those visuals were there for everyone to see. So I mean, we already know who has the money, and like I said, the corporates are backing them. So clearly, I feel that yes, it is going to be an interesting time. We are, you know. You've been a journalist now for so long, Faye. I have been one, and we know how one has to go and stand outside these resorts and continuously wait for some word to emerge. So that is going to be it is just going to be that kind of a scenario which could be playing out very soon. You will it is also no surprise that you can name it, the who's who and the top editors are all now camping in Maharashtra, because it is that way a very big election, and there is a lot riding on it. And when I say a lot riding on it, it basically means a lot of money. So so in that sense, yes, it is going to be a very uh, uh, tough time for everyone. And with the way the exit polls are, what they are showing, and what one is getting to hear from both people on the ground and from the bureaucrats that one has been speaking to, I feel that all the balls are up in the air right now. Like you can't really say it's going to be so neck to neck that now every vote will count, every this thing. So in this kind of an election, yes, money will be one of the most important factors.
Well, let me see if we can pull up some of the Jharkhand numbers that are also coming in for a second. I believe that there's a surprise there as well. Matrice, People's Pulse. Okay, there we have it. Matrice is giving Jharkhand also to the NDA. So there, of course, the halfway mark is at about 42, and you're looking at BJP and its allies between 42 and 47. The JMM and the Congress under 30, and the others 120. Aditya, it's looking like, if these exit polls are to be believed, it's a big day at the BJP office tomorrow.
Absolutely, it does seem that way. Even though I think Access by India, which usually does the exit poll for India Today, I think they have since split up after the debacle in the Lok Sabha and the Haryana elections. So
Mm.
they are predicting that it is the India Alliance and the Congress JMM Alliance
Yes,
which is ahead in Jharkhand. So clearly the state is throwing up two different kinds of
different,
predictions
yes.
right
Well, we're going to
So
try and
clear.
get those numbers as well. But go ahead, Yogesh.
No, I said clearly we will have no one crying in the studio this time. So, well, so I mean, I'm just saying that there, the whole factor of how a tribal chief minister was thrown into prison. It was clearly, you could see the political
Yeah.
vendetta play out the way it did, when it was finally, like, the case didn't amount to anything. So that is what, when one speaks to reporters back in Jharkhand, you get the sense that there is a lot of this Adivasi Asmita that feels hurt about how their man was treated. And yes, there is no running away from the Adani factor there too. So there too, there is a lot riding for the Adani group. So I think that will also have its own effect on that election. But yes, I mean, from what I
Mm.
hear, one sees that the Congress alliance has a slight edge over the others, just because of the way things played out for Soren.
There are
Faye?
JVC numbers that are coming in as well. Aditya and Yogesh, if you look at the screen, it shows the NDA at 40 to 44, and the JMM Congress between 30 and 40. So giving the Congress a lot more, but still allowing the BJP a larger number here. So again, the state is throwing up different, points of view, but it does seem like the NDA in general has the upper hand in these elections. Yogesh seems to believe, Aditya, that Mr. Adani is the wild card entry here that's tipping the scales in the favor of the NDA. Do you agree?
I mean, it is the oligarch model. There is this
Yes.
one big industrialists or a handful of big industrialists who are clearly favoring one side more than the other. So obviously, it gives that side a great advantage. And I mean, then we discussed how they are getting contracts in fields in which they have no experience. So there are obviously a lot of questions that can be raised on these issues, and it is obviously in their interest to, if BJP and
Yeah.
their allies come to power in these states.
Well, while that is also true, I also want to bring, okay, there's another poll that's coming. This is People's Pulse. People's Pulse is giving the NDA 44 to 53. So that's a comfortable margin winning Jharkhand. Remember, the halfway mark is 42. The JMM Congress Alliance at 25 to 37. So it does seem like all the exit polls are tilting a certain way. But let me remind you, the question for this entire conversation is, will the exit polls get it right? Because the last time they got them all of them got them horribly wrong. So let's keep that caveat in mind before we go further. I do want to ask you both about something coming back to the Maharashtra elections. A lot of the attention pulled by the Prime Minister Modi on his campaign, where he called it "Ek hai to safe hai." There was a deep level of polarization, calling the Hindu population to sort of stand together, vilification of the Muslims. There was that one video that the election commission dragged its feet on quite a bit, and I'll come to that. Yogesh, I saw your hand go up. Go ahead, please.
No, no, no. The Ek Hai To Safe Hai has now become a full-fledged meme. I just saw it as a prophylactic ad a little while ago. And I'm just saying that, it is they're like in that little spot that somebody has shot, there's a young man who is stepping out and he pulls out a condom packet from his pop back pocket and then he says, Ek hai to safe hai. So, I mean, it is, of course, we've always had, whether it is Mangal Sutra, buffaloes,
Mhm.
all kinds of rabbits being pulled out of Mr. Modi's hat at all kinds of occasions. But I think people, this is not, for all practical purposes, this is Maharashtra. In this is the land of Ambedkar, Phule, Shahu, and this is a place where people, they will say,
Yeah.
immediately say itna paisa mein itna milega. Like, they will immediately come down to what is the value for money that I'm getting out of everything. If you just go to a vegetable market in Delhi or in Bombay, then you will see the difference. So I'm just saying that people here want, like, the bang for their buck. But yes, you're right. But then at the same time, it does hurt one to see that they're so apathetic to this election, because had they come out and participated in this process, in the political process, by choosing the right kind of representatives out there, then they will have a better chance of having their issues resolved. So I know it seems like a bit of a contradiction there, but it is, for all practical purposes, a time when people feel really lost. They do not see any hope from either side. There is a um, ultra left neighbor of mine who from the Andhashraddha Nirmulan Samiti, who's lives right across my door. And I asked her, I said, आज vote करायला गेला नाहीत का? She's saying सगळ्यांचे थोबाडे एकसारखेच आहेत. So, everybody is the same. So who do I vote for? I don't want to even go there, because it will just depress me. Because I will vote for something, and then that person may, all said and done, go and join the other camp. So that, I feel, is something that, by the way, I just wanted to come back to something you said about People's Pulse, you raised. And People's Pulse in Maharashtra has actually predicted that the BJP and its allies, the BJP plus as you're calling it, are going to get 182. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean,
Yeah.
this really comes back to what what was there in the Lok Sabha elections. Like the numbers. Sometimes
Yeah.
I almost, I will be, now it's reached a point where it's got so ridiculous that they will perhaps predict a number which is more than the total number of seats that Maharashtra has. So even that wouldn't be surprising. So we've reached that
Yeah.
level of kind of absurdity right now. Faye?
In fact, those are the numbers on your screen right now. People's Pulse is on your screen, giving the Mahayuti or BJP and its allies 175 to 195. We have another guest
Oh my
join us right now. Sunil Gatare is a very senior journalist. Sunil ji, thank you so much for joining us. If you're looking at the numbers right now, um, do you believe this is an election that will belong to the NDA in Maharashtra? And what do you think are the main points that people are voting for today?
But if these the numbers, somehow I doubt those numbers first.
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
Why? Because this is a election for the first time. Six parties are there. They might be in two groups, but still it is an election for 288 seats. Every seat is different, and in such a case, 6 months back you saw a result in Lok Sabha, and nothing dramatic has happened except that
Mm.
Ladki Bahin Yojana was changing the narrative. And so I doubt whether such a thing can be possible. Yes, things can be possible for if you try to induce allurements, inducements. Ladki Bahin Yojana is also part of that inducement. And there have been several. If people are, uh, if people get uh, not used but attracted to the reveries, then
Mm.
this can happen. But otherwise, the last 2.5 years has been a roller coaster ride, and so to think that people have forgotten everything and the king is happy in his palace. So that is why I don't think it might be. I might be entirely wrong, but there is something.
सुनील जी ये भी बोला जा रहा है इस बार कि वोटर टर्नआउट बहुत कम है। पिछले
Hmm.
लोकसभा इलेक्शन से कंपेयर करें तो बहुत कम वोटर टर्नआउट से ऐसा लग रहा है कि लोगों को इतना चेंज नहीं चाहिए, जो अभी स्टेटस को है वही चलेगा। जो अभी अभी की जो सरकार है उसके खिलाफ कोई ज्यादा एंटी इनकम्बेंसी नहीं है, क्योंकि वी कैन रीड आउट ऑफ दीज दिस अंडरस्टैंडिंग एज वेल।
So it can be interpreted both ways. It can also be said that it shows unease. If you are unease in this thing, then what you will, the way you will react or you will behave is a different thing. And I won't say that you can interpret in one way. But at the same time, one must say BJP is the most organized party, and BJP is the most resourceful party in every way, both at the center and in the state. But the problem with BJP is that BJP's slogan some time back, it was not immediately, Shata Pratishat Bhajapa, 100% BJP. BJP doesn't want 50, 60%. BJP want 100%. This for the first time in Indian politics, any party has given that to us, we want 100%. So this 100% thing is a dangerous thing. If I want 100%, there is, in a democracy, it means whether how much I am a Democrat, there will be some question about me. So the thing is that you have to achieve something by hook or by, and that is the thing you see 400, 400 par, 400 par for whatever now I am not going that. But ये 400 पार का ये जो है वो अभी भी वो उसका ओरिजिन इन वे महाराष्ट्र में है 100% बीजेपी. This is the first time a slogan given by a national party in a state election. Sometimes, and BJP goes methodically about that. BJP is the first party which has gone methodically cultivate the OBCs. See, 30 years back or more than that, Mr. Bhagwat, Vasantrao Bhagwat, who has brought all these people like Pramod Mahajan, Gopinath Munde, our Prakash Javadekar, and a host of others, 8, 10 of them. He brought the concept of Bari Dhangar Banzari, Madhav, the Madhav project. So that Madhav project was a realization that you can't enter the Maratha. Marathas were with the Congress that time. So you have to enter the other thing. What it was the OBCs. So OBCs mein Mari is an influential committee, but not influential politically. They were moneyed. It is a very moneyed. Dhangars were scattered all over, but Dhangars are not. They are not that got the stakes. Vanzari means now our Gopinath Munde was a Vanzari. So they brought different types of leadership. And before that, it was known as the Shedji Bhadji party, means Brahman Baniya party in Maharashtra. So they cultivated, they have made deep work into that. They have, and I am from Pune. I am from Pandharpur basically, but my
Yes.
childhood was in Pune. In my ward, uh, Rambhav Malgi, who was the became a stalwart of BJP in Maharashtra. I am talking of 50 years back. He was a corporator from my ward. So that Rambhav Malgi was so well, not only well known, but he helped the party grow from this Bhagwat line. So what several people came. Gopinath Munde was one, and Gopinath Munde and Pramod Mahajan. Pramod Mahajan did the politics at the national level because Pramod Mahajan was a Brahmin. And in Maharashtra, Brahmin is from the condemned category.
Hmm.
So condemn mal hai, Brahman. Brahman is a Brahman. Brahman uh, is an abuse in Marathi in a way. It is not like in UP or Bihar. Brahmins are they are Dabang people. I mean, they're, but at the same time, in administration, Brahmins are everywhere. So that thing is that there are historical reasons. So my point is that BJP has tried everything to be the number one. So it achieved its task in 2014, May 2014, when Modi became the uh, emerged at the national scene. But 10 years so, it has not stabilized in Maharashtra. You have to see 122 is the top they got in 2014. Then they got 105. So, and now it will be less than 100. That is what I feel. In whatever it is, because they are fighting for 150 seats or all. So, BJP, BJP has done a clever politics, but at the
Okay.
same time, BJP is not a party from Maharashtra because BJP has,
But you know what? Once
I'm
again,
negating.
Sunilji, BJP and the RSS. I mean, from as far Nagpur is in Maharashtra, so there is a
Yeah.
portion of the birth of the party and the parent of the party is Maharashtrian. So would it be fair to say BJP is not a party from Maharashtra because they've had a basis
No, no, no,
in the
no, no,
Vidarbha region for a very long time?
no, 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 I am sorry, I am being me. I have been misunderstood. BJP is a party from Maharashtra, but BJP, like uh, Shiv Sena or this thing, that it is a party which which is not a party of Marathi people. It likes to spread. See, I will give one example. One of my relatives stays in Mumbai, North Mumbai. There, when I said you must be voting for BJP, he said no. Why? Because in my constituency, BJP is of known as North Indians. BJP only looks after North Indians. Now this is 10, 15 years
Okay.
back. So बीजेपी का एक प्रॉब्लम है कि वो बीजेपी में महाराष्ट्रियंस है लेकिन बीजेपी सिर्फ महाराष्ट्रियन की पार्टी है या ऐसा कुछ महाराष्ट्रियन का कुछ
Hmm. हाँ.
प्रोजेक्ट उन्होंने ये किया ऐसा नहीं बट बीजेपी
तो आपका
गॉट
कहना है कि
गॉट
जैसे बीजेपी के साथ जो साउथ साउथ इंडियन स्टेट्स में जो दिक्कत है कि उन वो भाषा नहीं बोल पाते उन ऐसा इमेज बना हुआ है कि दिल्ली से आए हुए हैं, कि बस चुनाव के टाइम के आसपास वो लोग दिल्ली से आके कैंपेनिंग करके वापस चले जाते हैं। वो प्रॉब्लम और वो दिक्कत अभी महाराष्ट्र में भी हो रही है बीजेपी के साथ। दिस इज व्हाट यू आर
या
सेइंग योगेश?
इन ए वे यस
यस।
इट वाज
Yeah,
वन
I
सेकंड आई विल
या
one second I
योगेश।
will conclude Pramod Mahajan and Gopinath Munde when they were ruling the roost all decisions of Maharashtra were taken in Maharashtra.
हम्म।
Or if BJP was to contest 48 seats, let us assume. So all 48 seats would be decided in Maharashtra, and they will go to Delhi for only okay.
हम्म।
Now nothing. Now everything comes from the New Delhi. So the opposition also says, "Oh, Dillishwar." जो शिवसेना का जो बोलना है ये दिल्लीश्वर इज ए दिल्ली ऑपरेटेड पार्टी द मोर ए पार्टी इज ऑपरेटेड फ्रॉम दिल्ली इट इज लेस द लोकल पार्टी आई कैन oh sorry yes you can go ahead
No, I
हाँ
I
योगेश जी
wanted
बताइए.
to या नहीं, ये बात यही थी कि ऑन
जी.
एक तरफ तो हम ये कहते हैं कि मतलब आरएसएस का गढ़ नागपुर में है, और जो हिंदुत्व का लैब है ये बहुत मतलब गांधी जी की हत्या के बहुत पहले से इसकी शुरुआत हुई है। और मतलब ये प्रोजेक्ट कई दिनों तक इसको बोलते हैं धीमी आंच पे इस बिरयानी को पकाया गया है। I find it a bit odd, ironical that I'm saying, comparing a complete saffron ideology with biryani, but nevertheless. So I'm just saying, but when they realized that while it is great that you had a very heavily Maharashtrian accented Hindi and a Marathi influenced Hindi that became into vogue because of their leadership, whether it was Rambao Malgi or others in the
Hmm.
even before him, Nanaji Deshmukh and so on and so forth, or Mohan Bhagwat now, maine unko bol diya hai, Vaini ji babuji, like that kind of Hindi that you got to see. Now I'm just saying that even Advani and other leaders began to speak that kind of Hindi, but they knew that this Hindutva lab knew that this is a land of Shau Phule Ambedkar, this is a land of Tukaram, of this thing. So they knew that after a point there will be kind of a resistance to this. So have you noticed that how the RSS very cleverly began to use more and more Gujarat as its lab, and there this template has been grown. Yes, it became successful for various reasons, but now what they are trying to do is they're trying to superimpose that. Today, a message that went out today on social media from a known someone who has a very strong regional chauvinist card on social media is saying, he wrote it in Gujarati, Maharashtra. He's saying, if you want to write it like this in Gujarati,
Hmm.
Maharashtra, only then you vote for the BJP. Do you think of whether you want Maharashtra to be written in Gujarati? So I'm just saying that slowly the Marathi Manus,
Is
while
pushing
it's
back.
one thing to play religious politics, but when you come up against regionalism, then finally the Marathi Manus will fall back on the idea of the regional identity. They will feel threatened. They will feel that their language, their culture,
Hmm.
their
Hmm.
music, everything is getting influenced slowly by this, and they want a homogenized Gujarati version of Hinduism to be brought into even their land, right down to what we will worship and what we will eat and all that. So this is beginning to really becoming problematic, so much so that entire buildings are becoming vegetarian. So people are beginning to feel that this is slowly they are being ousted from their very land. So
Yeah.
what began with Murarji Desai killing 104 people at his orders in Hutatma Chowk, so what did not succeed then of taking away Bombay into Gujarat, are they trying to bring that thing back, and they're trying to make it succeed? And do we need to remind them of what happened when Shivaji raided Surat and how the
Yeah.
Hindu traders over there
But
supported the Mughals? So I
so
mean,
let me bring in.
these are
Yeah.
things that one
Yes.
needs to look at when one looks at this whole idea of how this is being played. This is playing out.
Well,
Faye?
let's look at a few more numbers that are coming in, and this is from Dainik Bhaskar. And Dainik Bhaskar is giving us a slightly different view from the polls that we've seen so far. The exit poll from Dainik Bhaskar is, I think, giving us a bit of a hung view. It says the Mahayuti, which is BJP and allies, between 25 and 140, and Congress is MVA between 135 and 150. So, you know, very interesting. Aditya,
There is a sort of a editorial course correction that one has seen in the recent times in organizations like Dainik Bhaskar, where which was swinging one way and then has now seen a course correction in between after the Lok Sabha elections in the run up to it. In fact, so I just feel that this has something to do with that also. Sorry, Aditya, please go on.
Aditya, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think even though they are predicting a slight edge for the Congress-led alliance, whereas the other polls, but I think broadly all the polls seem to be moving in one direction, that this is a very close election, very localized election, in which there are some 50 to 100 seats which can go either ways. And I was speaking to one pollster who said off the record that predicting these 50 plus or 70 plus seats is a jackpot. It's not, we cannot do it scientifically. These seats are so close. So I think I mean all these polls are broadly saying the same thing, that this is a close election, and the range, it's everything is within the margin of error.
एब्सोल्युटली। सुनील जी, आपको क्या लगता है कि आपको लगता है कि काफी ज्यादा क्लोज इलेक्शन होने वाली, और ऐसे काफी सीट्स है जहां जो कैंडिडेट्स लड़ रहे हैं वो शायद 6 महीने पहले, 1 साल पहले एक ही साइड पे थे। जैसे अपने मुंबई के वर्ली में एक दिशा से मिलिंद देवरा, एक दिशा से आदित्य ठाकरे, अच्छी टक्कर है दोनों की, लेकिन दोनों कभी एक ही साइड पे थे। तो is that what is confusing for the voter? Is that why this is a close election, Sunil ji?
No, no, this is a different election in another way. You have even given your candidates to other parties. First time such thing has happened, that now that China went from BJP to Shinde, and Milind Devra's final destination is BJP. He has been parked into the Shinde Sena. That everyone knows. And who has parked him, that everyone also knows. So, this type of these migrations are just to fool the public. But they are basically being कठपुतली है, ये माइम ये चल रहा है. So somehow I think it, as you say, rightly said, and as Aditya ji said, that it is a very close election. And so if someone says ki, oh, someone is going to get very, very one-sided, I somehow don't feel at the moment. Might be I am totally off the mark, but right now it is a very close election. And the other thing, if the MVA is number one, let us assume it, it is number one, but it is at around 140. And the others are, Mahayuti is less. But then only Mahayuti will do all the other things, what we have seen from in the last 3 years. Again, the Maharashtra will go through all that painful process, because MBA doesn't have that financial muscle. And so again, you have to see all that. It's a mad, mad, mad world. There is no other way. And we have to just enjoy. You can't do anything.
So buy the
So that is
popcorn
it.
and strap in for a
Yeah,
really interesting
yeah,
election
yeah.
result. That's what
Mm.
Sunil ji is predicting. Aditya, where do you think those swing seats are going to come from?
So I mean, there are some seats which are very clear. Like for instance, in Mumbai, the seats where the Shiv Sena, Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray have a very stable vote, and in which the stable vote of the Congress and Rashtrawadhi Congress get added together, it makes them very comfortable. For instance, Shaina's seat that Sunilji just mentioned, I think it's a very comfortable seat for the Maha Vikas Aghadi. Amin Patel is a successful and a reasonably popular MLA, and now if you add the UBT votes, it becomes relatively easier for him. But and then there are also seats like Malabar Hill, which are very clearly in favor of the BJP for demographic reasons. So some seats are clear, but many seats we don't know because of the way the alliances have shaped. For instance, Shinde Sena has fielded candidates against rebel candidates against both BJP and Ajit Pawar NCP. BJP has backed independents and other parties against the Shinde Sena candidates as well as Ajit Pawar candidates. So we don't know what happens to the loyal, who is a Mahayuti voter in such a seat. We don't know. So I think these seats will make it complicated. Then there are seats where a Congress or a Rashtrawadhi Congress, a Sharad Pawar candidate would be contesting, and we don't know to what extent the Shiv Sena voters will transfer to this alliance, because there is clearly an ideological mismatch. So I think there are all these unknown variables are there, which will make which has made a lot of seats very unpredictable.
Also, Aditya, the other thing that I do want to bring up, and this is something that your team covered also, is the question of Vinod Tawde from the BJP being caught with 5 crores of cash just the day before voting. How much money has been floating around in the Maharashtra election so far? Has it been a surprising number, or is this par for the course as far as this state is concerned? And I'll take this question to all the guests. I'll just ask Aditya to tell us what they reported on so far.
I think what we are the Vinod Tawde case, of course, I think it was the monies. I think we don't think the entire 5 crore was seen in the public. I think something around to the tune of 9 lakhs was recovered. But the entire video and the way in which the crowd, the especially the Hitendra Thakur's BVA cadres were constantly shouting "chor, chor, chor, chor" to Vinod Tawde, who's a very senior leader. He's a national general secretary. Anyone who joins the BJP, it is Vinod Tawde who welcomes them into the
Yeah,
party.
yeah.
So it's a very senior leader publicly being called a thief in this manner. I think the visual was more embarrassing for the BJP. So I don't know, of course, whether it will impact votes or not. But there, I mean, one does hear of a considerable amount of money doing the rounds on both sides. Some has been confiscated, but very, very less compared to what is actually doing the rounds. And also, I mean, one is also hearing that the money circulating from one party is getting caught much less than the other one, and one side is having a free pass much more than the other. So unfortunately, that amount of bias also one is hearing from the administration, so that could have an impact in the final result.
Faye,
Yes, Yogesh.
I wanted to say that, when you said that, when Aditya said that there is, he's such a senior leader, and for him to be called chor, 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 we must not, it immediately brings a huge sense of deja vu to my generation, at least for people who remember Bangaru Lakshman up there in those visuals accepting wads of money. So now for them to say that, hum Brashtachar Mukt and we are the cleanest party and all that. So, I mean, it is this has more or less been established now as to where the BJP stands vis-a-vis corruption. So, but I'm just saying that, it is all very good to grandstand and make all these statements, but I don't think the BJP is going to hold back when it comes to cash. I've covered the Karnataka elections and I saw the kind of insane amount of money that they threw around there, and then you saw that happening in West Bengal as well, and in Maharashtra, considering there is so much, the amount of money you throw in, you're going to get for maybe 10, 15 times more out of the state. So which is why it's seen as a milch cow. So I mean, they will definitely
Yeah.
go after this state. And like we brought that up earlier, it is not like the corporates who are backing them are going to kind of renege on giving them any money to win this election. And coming back to the point that Sunilji made earlier, he said that they are a very, the BJP is a very fully prepared party, and they go into, but they go into battle like that because they only are in election mode. Where even
All the
when
time,
Mr.
yeah.
Modi is addressing a crowd in the US, he's in election mode in about Indian elections. Up ki bar Trump sarkar. So even, I mean, even when he talks about, so he's continuously trying. There's a mean election fighting machine which is being kept well oiled by its corporates, and that is exactly all that the BJP is about. But when you really come down to an election, when you come to people, then governance is where people will start beginning to feel the pinch, because if it's all about only winning elections and buying enough MLAs to make governments, even if you lose elections as we saw in some states, or using sectarian politics to kind of win the general election. But I'm just saying that it at the end of the day, people will go back to bijli sadak pani, and those are the issues that will pinch. So it will hurt at the end of the day when you speak to your cabbie, auto wala, your bhaji wala. You get to hear this is the actual peeve that people have, and they see that these politicians and corporates are getting richer and grander and bigger. So they see them fattening themselves off their sweat and toil. Obviously there is anger, so that is also going to
Yeah.
play out, somewhere or the other. Faye?
Yeah. So that is actually what it's all looking like. But I just want to point out another Loksahi Marathi Rudra poll that has just come in as well, and this one is also. I mean, it's difficult to call. It's looking really close. It's giving the Mahayuti with the BJP 128 to 142, just shy of the halfway mark. It's giving the MVA 125 to 140, which is also just shy of the halfway mark. So effectively, what we're looking at is two polls are giving the BJP and its allies a Bahumat. Two polls are showing us a very close, perhaps hung election in Maharashtra. Effectively, sorry to have wasted your time. We don't know what's happening. Just fundamentally, from these exit polls, we can't call anything. It's impossible to tell. We'll only be able to tell in a couple of days on Saturday morning. Sunil ji, I'm going to ask you to stick your neck out to happen on Saturday. Who do you think is going to form the government in Maharashtra?
No, but I feel ki MBA has a good, what I say, mm, they have got the good issues on at their hands. But whether they have been able to reach out to the people on those, I really don't know. Because I am in Delhi,
Mm,
I really don't know. Otherwise, MBAs, the issues raised by MBA are better than the this thing. But at the same time, Mahayuti has all the trump cards in there. Trump cards means money, muscle that they have there, and the center is in their hand, and
yeah,
that Operation Kamala, that is a so if someone gets a uh, majority, I will be relieved. It's yes,
yeah.
someone people have voted that a government, but otherwise it will be a permanent
Yeah,
project. That is my worry.
that is true. Aditya, go ahead. Who do you think is going to win on Saturday?
I mean, I think it'll be, we'll have 150 resort rooms being booked in Goa or Gujarat from one side, and 150 in either Hyderabad or Bangalore by the other side. So I think that is what we can say, right? I
Okay, so
wanted to
okay,
ask
let
all.
me rephrase the question. Let me rephrase the question. Is Ajit Pawar a flight risk at this point? So, depending on who wins, will the Pawars actually make the difference by switching sides?
So I mean, what I've observed about Ajit Pawar is that he's not a leader who can immediately call the shots on all his MLAs. He's some kind of a first among equals. All the MLAs also have agency of their own.
Mhm.
Hassan Mushrif or Dattatreya Bharne, they have an independent equation with Sharad Pawar, and if they feel that it is in their interest to shift sides to the Maha Vikas Aghadi, they will shift sides to the Maha Vikas Aghadi. So it's not as if everyone is going to follow Ajit Pawar's whip. And Ajit Pawar himself is a creature of his own interests in that sense. So if it is in his interest to move that side, he also might move that side. Conversely, if people from the Sharad Pawar NCP could also come this side. So in that sense, NCP is a very rational party. It's a less difficult party to predict. I actually wanted to ask all three of you, who do you think will be the chief minister if either MVA wins a slender majority or if Mahayuti wins a slender majority?
Oh, that is a very interesting question. I love it. Okay, who's going to go first? Yogesh Pawar.
I mean, I definitely feel that it. I know Mr. Shah came here and said that "Aap Devendra Bhai ko lana hai." He made that statement, and that set off
Yeah.
sort of the proverbial cat among the pigeons, where suddenly the Shinde camp then went all aflutter and all that. But I'm just saying that I do not really think Mr. Fadnavis, I think, is now Delhi bound, is how I see it. So I don't think the BJP is going to put him up as the chief minister candidate. And also his veteran within the party, Vinod Taude, has more or less of his chief ministerial ambitions have been nipped in the bud with what happened yesterday. And whether Mr. Fadnavis had anything to do with it, like some of them are some conspiracy theories are suggesting, and because he holds the home ministry charge, is something that one will only have to see how that plays out. But yes, I as of now, I don't think there can be a completely different candidate than what we've seen, the faces that are coming ahead. We can see a complete different candidate that is brought out, and they will, like Ms. Sunil ji pointed out a little while ago, बामन नसेल तो पण एवढं एवढं नक्की आहे, बामन नसेल. So they will try to get someone else and who is a non-Brahmin face, and the BJP will try to install him if they can as the chief minister. It will be it is all, like I said in the beginning, all balls are up in the air right now. People really don't know how it will play out. So that depending on, oh wow. So no, so I have a lab sitting right here. So in the rooms, for a minute I looked at that. But I'm just saying that it is going to be very difficult to predict this. Though, oh, you heard the Labrador go here also. So I'm just saying that it is something that we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But it is not going to be easy. You remember what happened the last time, whether it was Ajit Pawar taking the oath there late in the night, and then Uddhav finally being installed as chief minister. Since the election to the installation of the chief minister, how long that whole process took. So this time I don't see that not playing out again. It is going to be an extremely long, drawn out kind of a thing, drama, which will play out. Faye?
I just want to point out what I've been hearing from political circles. So I've been hearing that it is very clear that it's very unlikely that Mr. Eknath Shinde will get another term. This is Mr. Fadnavis's term. This is, it's clear they've given him his 2.5 years. He's done now. On the
The
other
rickshaw ride is
side,
over. Yeah, the rickshaw ride is over.
the rickshaw riders. On the other
Yeah.
side, though, what I find very interesting is I'm hearing a lot of buzz about the fact that Mr. Sharad Pawar is very clear he wants his daughter in the chief minister's seat. Now, where does that leave Uddhav Thackeray, who is the face of that alliance? And that I find very interesting. Sunil ji, aapko kya lag raha hai? Supriya Sule ya Uddhav Thackeray? Is there another candidate in that, Vikas Aghadi?
In Vikas Aghadi, Sharad Pawar will decide who is the next CM. That is what I feel in Vikas Aghadi. Now, who can be that? Now we have to. He can be of any, because he has the ear of the Congress. So, and he might not be in Congress, but he is the topmost Congress leader in Maharashtra. You see, it is a very different thing. Other thing, in Mahayuti, it will be now, as he said, you guys said, uh, Mr. Binod Tavde has ruled himself out yesterday. They have to, if they don't want this our Fadnavis, they have to first rehabilitate him at the center. And rehabilitation means he has to be rehabilitated in a very good way. Good way means, again, he has to be shown that he is senior to Gadkari at the center.
Oh, God.
So it can be either president, or it can be defense minister or finance minister, something like this. He has to be in that league. There is no, you can't bring him below Gadkari. Yeah. And so only then you can have some any other thing, any Chandrakant Patil or any other. वो फिर तो वो जो भी होगा वो एकनाथ शिंदे जैसा होगा, भाई उठो बैठो ऐसा वाला हो, तो that is a different thing. And but the most is our Fadnavis uh,
Yeah.
has the most people with him right now. वो है. So you can't brush him aside for long. You have brushed him. He has taken a back seat for 2.5 years. Now you have to give him his due. But in Maha Vikas Aghadi, it will be one person, and that is Sharad Pawar, who will call the shots. So now he can go for his daughter or anyone. That is this thing. But
Yeah.
now it is his this thing. And in this con- contest, I must say, Uddhav Thackeray, now these secular people love him nowadays. That is a different thing. Oh, he has to be ideal. Let it be. This is his role is over. He has been made CM by Sharad Pawar. So now Sharad Pawar doesn't want him to be the again, because otherwise they they would have gone to with his face to the election.
Mm,
No, it has not happened.
mm.
So it will be a clean slate with someone else. Huh. He would like, but they will also try to keep him in good humor. This is a Congress style. To keep him in good humor. भाई ठीक है आपका आपको हम देखेंगे आपके इंटरेस्ट देखेंगे वो भी होगा कि भाई वो साइड न जाए इतना ही बट नो सीएमशिप
Okay.
I
So
don't
this
think it
is
is in Sharad Pawar's scheme of things,
this is
because
really
the person
interesting.
who has not made
Yeah.
his nephew a CM in so many years will not go for someone else for that.
Twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, we know that Mr. Sharad Pawar very shrewdly also managed to give his own party an equal number of seats to contest, and along with the Congress, put himself in sort of a bargaining high position, and as always, has made himself kingmaker. Of course, the results will be out on Saturday morning. Another interesting number that came in that I do want to share, which my team is calling fun at this point. Access My India for Jharkhand is giving the Congress JMM 49 to 59, but giving the BJP plus only 17 to 27. So effectively, none, or there's no pattern emerging from any of the exit polls. The exit polls are all pointing in different directions. So I guess we'll only know on Saturday morning, which is when we will reconvene at 9 a.m. to take you through the
I
counting.
think
Aditya,
Rajat,
Yogesh, Mr. Yes,
just
Aditya, go ahead.
one small thing. I think Mr. Pradeep Gupta, because I think all the channels have sort of sidelined him, he is playing some kind of a lottery in Jharkhand. So if he gets Jharkhand right, he's back in the business. So I think we should read the Jharkhand prediction that way also.
Correct,
I
correct.
think at this rate, Faye, we'll have to go to the bookies and find out what they are saying because probably they've got it right.
Yeah. So this is where we are, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. We'll, of course, reconvene on Saturday morning to actually take our audience through the counting, which promises to be extremely entertaining. So do remember to join us. This is a collaboration between my team and the team at Quint that has been doing amazing work. Remember to check out their website and their YouTube page for all of the work that they're doing on the ground. Yogesh Pawar, thank you for joining us. Sunil Gadadi, thank you so much for joining us. And for our audience, like, share, subscribe, and of course, sign up for our membership if you can. Thank you for watching.